Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the March 2025 Creative Memories Virtual Crop. I am going to be working on all four sketches, so I hope you all will hang out with me for a little bit and check out my interpretations of these sketches. And I am using the collections that you all voted on, as well as an additional one I popped in. So let's get started. Let me get things switched over here real quick. Okay. And my setup changed on me just a little bit here. Let me get that so everybody can read it. There we go. All right. I'm going to double check one more thing and make sure my audio is not the right one. Okay. Let this, that should sound a little bit better. All right. I don't know why my entire, maybe because I haven't live streamed in a little bit, decided to reset itself somehow. So hopefully y'all can hear me. And I will go ahead and get started with sketch number one using our Noteworthy Days collection. And this is the collection that I've told you all that I am going to be working with every single virtual crop this year. Whether it appears as the first sketch or the last sketch, I don't know until I actually see the sketches when they come out. I still have, after designing the layout for today, I still have our St. Patrick's Day as well as our Mardi Gras stickers. So I will be doing another sketch with me video or use up the stickers video in the next week or two to use up the rest of these stickers to give you all some ideas of things you can do with those. And I also did pull in a couple of our clear stickers tonight as well. That was part of the Buy It All bundle. And I apologize for not taking a moment and double checking the website to see if those are still available or not. Maybe somebody can leave a comment and let everybody know. All right. For this sketch, I'm going to hold it up so that way if you would like a screenshot of what I've done, you can grab one. Here we go. All right, for this sketch, I used my custom cutting system square. Now the square comes with the rectangle set, just so that way you're aware. And on all the squares I cut, I used the blue blade on the outside of the square. And essentially it makes it about 5 3/4 of an inch. So just under. And that way I was actually able to get 4 squares out of one sheet of paper. The paper I used is the one with the light blue dots on one side and the green stripes on the other. And we will see this piece again. So remember, when I say cut with purpose, we can use this on another layout. We're not going to use it tonight because the sketch isn't really leading us in that direction, but I will use it in another layout at some point this year. Whether or not it's this month or another month, we'll see. But I am keeping it, and I will give you an idea for it. So there you go. Hang on to that. And I also did pull in my Square Link Chain Border Maker cartridge because I kind of thought that the sketch did have a lot of squares to it. And then I wound up with this square, since it's rounded, I did wind up using my corner rounder as well. So we have some, I like the contrast with some of the rough edge or pointy edge squares, and then some of our more rounded squares and mats as well. And you'll see what that looks like when it comes all together. Let me set these aside. And let's maybe get started here. Set this aside too, somewhere. It's hard. A lot of my desk space is full from doing all the designing today. We are going to be using the brown stripe paper on both sides of our layout. It does have, hang on, the mint green polka dots on the back. So we'll start with one sheet for the left side of our page. I do want my stripes running vertically along the page. So it's been a big day. I got all these designed in one day. I was actually quite pleased with how they turned out this month. And so had a lot of scraps for this collection. So we are going to be using up some of the scraps. So if you've been scrapbooking along with me this year, we have used this paper with the brown diamonds on the back of it, if you will, and the light tan larger polka dots on the front. And so you'll want to grab that strip. And essentially, I took what I had and I cut it in half. So this one is 1 3/4 of an inch. And I have a little note to self to put it about a 1/2 inch in. And I guess I probably don't need to measure this one. I'm usually pretty good with a 1/2 inch because we're going to have just that little bit of our base paper showing through. And I don't know, this was, I think, a technique I was feeling this month because I did this on another layout as well. And it's a nice way to kind of save some extra paper along the way also and not make your layouts quite as heavy because this one has a lot of layers to it. So that blue polka dot paper I showed you earlier that has the green stripes on the back, we had a scrap of that. And so that's what I went ahead and punched my, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot what that is, diamond square. Square link. Square link chain. And you know what? I have it written down. It's okay. But I still went ahead and looked for the box anyways. But I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of repositionable tape on this one. And it was kind of nice to be able to use up quite a few of my scraps putting this layout together. And that's something I will continue with this year as well, with giving you all this inspiration for using this collection. I also want to show you how to use your scraps along the way as well. So I have here for this side of the page, these are my 2 squares that I cut using the custom cutting system with the blue blade. And you can see it's the same paper. We're just going to use one side with the blue side up and one side with the green side up. That's how I got the 4 squares that you saw at the very beginning. So I don't know if it matters if I flip these over or not. It's almost like the cardstock where you don't necessarily have to flip it, but we kind of automatically do it just from having the double-sided paper. We get used to the flipping over. All right, and we are going to get this blue dot one up here, and we are angling it this way a bit. And let me just make sure that I'm in the right space. We're going to go over our paper on the side here just a little bit. This one actually is going to go underneath this one. It would have helped probably if I'd actually double checked my notes, but it's okay because it'll work out. And this one is angling just a little bit opposite. Yep, with our green stripes going a little bit more horizontal, whereas these are going vertical. They're going horizontal, but kind of at a angle off the edge of the page. And I want to make sure, hang on, it's hard with having all this stuff up here, to make sure I'm actually on the camera so you guys can see the whole page as well. Get myself straightened out here. Goodness, you can tell it's been a longish day. So this one was also that the polka dot paper, and I actually did consider putting the dark brown underneath the green striped of our border maker, and I looked at putting the light tan polka dots up as well over here, but it's just the colors, it worked better for me with the darker, so that's what I'm doing. This square I actually did cut. It is a 5-inch square. We are having the dark brown side up here. And then this piece was left over from last month, either the virtual crop or my using up the extra stickers. I'd already had it kind of pre-cut and ready for the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 squares. We get 4 of them from one sheet of paper. And so I went ahead and cut those, and then I used my corner rounder on the corners. And that's also what I did with my 5-inch square as well. So it was nice to be able to use up that scrap that I found in my bag, and it didn't feel forced at all. I really like how this all worked out. We're going to go ahead and place this one up across the right, and this one is going over here on the left. And get these kind of linear, but not quite, because the sketch just kind of had a little bit of I don't know. It definitely had some movement through the page, I guess is the best way to explain it. And then we are going to add a few stickers here. I did pull out, like I said, that clear sheet. So there's this little scripted spring in our clear sticker set, as well as the rainbow. And so this is going over here. Let's see here. I did it. I put it kind of, yeah, right here. And our script is going to go on top of our rainbow because it's clear. So why not? I can actually get it. There we go. To cooperate with me here. So a lot of times with my regular sticker sheets, I take the outer edge off because it just makes it easier when I go to pull the stickers. So that's just right over the top of the rainbow, and I will hold it up for you all coming up. And then I pulled out our little bird that is on the branch here, and this one is going up over this way, sitting in the corner here, right next to our polka dot paper here. We're just going to put it partially on it, partially off of it, kind of up towards our blue dots here as well. Little corner went over the edge there. Our green binoculars are going over here because it's honestly just after that first one, I really learned to pay attention to what colors were in the stickers. And then we have these, two more of our clear stickers. This one is a larger one. It does have a darker blue center, and this one has that Island Waters green, or kind of the minty sort of green. I think it's closer to the Island Waters, but it works on this page. Let me get this folded down so I can actually get this off of the backing here. So this one is going right in here. Oops, okay, I guess it's going right there. You know, sometimes they decide where they want to go themselves, right? Because once a sticker's stuck, it's really hard to get them up. So, and then I'm going to layer this one, I think, just down below this other one just a little bit, because it'll catch the eye with just that little bit of green in there, and it kind of reiterates some of our greens in our page here. And our left side is done. So here we go. All right. You can see, so you can still pick out that little bit of island water in the middle of that one, but you can see it, and there is our spring on top of our rainbow there, scripted. And all right, left side is done. Let's get the right side put together as well. Wanting to keep this moving along a little bit because number 2 is going to be a doozy. There's a lot of sticking down that has to happen on that next one. So essentially, this right side of our page here is going to mirror our left side. And again, about 1/2 inch from the edge here is where we're going to place this one. And again, using the light brown dots up with our dark green again. Just centering this one. Okay, maybe not. There we go. It's good thing we used the repositionable. Okay, and then we have, again, the same mats. This is where our other 2 squares came from. Again, the same paper, both sides. I'm just going to go ahead and start putting on tape. So long as I have one side up of each pattern, I'm good. And this one, I wanted to go with the dots up here. And we're angling it this way this time. And there we go. And then this one is down here. And again, it's supposed to be underneath a little bit, but of course, I think it's just natural to start in the top a bit and then work our way down, and it's okay. And then I do have two more, the other two 4¼ by 6¼ of the green with the blue dots. That was our leftover. And then one more 5-inch square in the dark brown that's going to get placed again as well. And use the corner rounder on all these as well. Y'all are going to have to let me know in the comments if you like the look of the corner rounding with the sharp edged border here. What you think? It kind of seemed to work for me with the between having some of the angles and the lines and the dots. It just kind of fit with both of them through the page here for me. But I always like hearing what y'all think as well. It's kind of fun to see what everybody thinks works and doesn't work also. And I know this one, it feels like it's a lot of patterns going together, but it just seemed to flow nicely for me and come together and work. So that's what I went with. All right, so there's a little rain boot that says spring is here in our stickers. And then I have two other clear stickers with the flowers, and I'll show you that closer in a minute. And then we also had this clear, in our clear sticker set, the spring sticker as well. So I thought it just kind of, I don't know, I took some inspiration from the boot with the spring is here, and then finding that little rainbow and the bird. And so I opted to go a little bit more spring versus the St. Patrick's Day or Mardi Gras, which means I still am going to have to do those coming up. Let's see here. How do I want this? I think it makes sense to have it at an angle since it's clear, to have this pretty much the same background behind it. So, and then our spring is here with our little boots going to go right here, right next to our two mats, or kind of in between the two mats here. And then this larger flower has a little bit of the yellow, essentially the same yellow as what the S and the I are here. And it also matches what's in our little rain boots. So that one's going to go up over here. Nope, that's going, whoops, well, it's going up here now. It's supposed to be closer to the boot. So when you put yours down, put yours closer to the boot. Maybe I'll see if I can get it up with my multi-purpose tool. We'll see. I don't want to rip the paper either, though. I'll just leave it. It's okay. This one's going over here, though. Oh, that still works. All right. And here is the close-up. Like I said, put yours down here a little bit more. The sky. But that was a little bit yellower one. And here is the bottom again. And I'm going to go ahead and spread this out, put both of them side by side. I'll bring in the sketch. Y'all can ask any questions if you have them, but I'm also going to show you where I'm going to be putting photos on this page. So here's my adaptation on the sketch. They do have 6x6 squares, and yeah, you can take a piece of paper and cut it in 4, and then you don't have that extra little bit that I'll be using up later, but I think it worked using the custom cutting system here to bring those in. They're just a hair smaller. I think it was like 5 3/8 or 5 5/8 or somewhere along that length when I measured it, just to kind of see what the difference was. And then we have, like I said, I did space for 3 photos, not exactly the same size as shown here, but I do like larger photos. And then I did follow putting the border on the outside of each. Of course, I made it into 2-page layouts, since we tend to use a lot more 2-page layouts than single-page layouts in our albums. So here's our 4x4 photo sample. 4x6 would go here, and 6x4 is up here. So it's kind of self-explanatory. I did corner around. So now I think with this one, the 5x5 box, you can do a couple of other things, and this is something that I do when I go to put my photos on. A lot of times I'm not tied totally into what it's, like this. You easily could put another 6x4 just going up, or if you trim down just a little bit off of it, it would also fit nicely as well. Or you could even put another one going across here as well, and then just have a slightly smaller, thinner photo over here. All right, that is it for sketch number 1. Hopefully y'all appreciated seeing those extra options. And I will grab a quick sip of water in between sketches here just to make sure I save my voice a little bit, maybe. We'll go from here. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on this Saturday night. It's always fun when people join in and check out what I'm doing. Sketch number 2, the big one. I hope everybody's had a bathroom break before this one, because it is a doozy. All right. My clip is going to cover up part of my writing, but that's okay. I have a good general idea of what I've done here. And I'm only going to slide out the left side because, as you can see, there's a whole lot going on here. This is our vintage chic collection, or chic, if you will. And I did use okay, where did I put that? Here it is. The Elegant Diamond punch on this one. And this one is one of our chain type punches. It does come away from the punch, but you can see pretty much where we're going here. I pulled in a lot of different papers, a lot of different patterns, because I had a lot of scraps from this collection, and it just seemed that they worked out together. I did cut a couple of other little strips to add in, but I'm going to go ahead and start scooting things up just a little because I want to start at the bottom of the page, and I will show you all which papers I used as I go along here. So on the top, oops, did I forget to do the, yeah. I forgot to show you all the sketch here. My printer had a small issue, and so I had to use our alternate printer, and printed front and back. So I have to be careful with my sheets here and make sure I put the correct side up for y'all. But you can see there's a lot of writing, a lot of measurements on this one. And on here on the bottom, they did a lot of 3-inch by 1-inch squares. Of course, they'd cut them in half for part of it, which I did do some of that, but my strips are 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and a 1/2 inch. Because again, that's what I had in my bag. I just had a bunch of scraps, and I thought, well, let's go ahead and use them up. And I probably need to bring back in my little border mat as well. And then I also found these really cool tickets in our embellishment pack, and I thought, this kind of helped to fill in some of my extra space I had on my page. I am using beige cardstock for my base on both sides, and I don't know if I already told y'all, but this sheet is the one with the, I guess, darker pink chevrons on the back. This sheet I cut 6 inches by 9 inches because, again, I just took off the inch, and I'm using some of my inch along the bottom here, but it also helped to kind of conserve the sheet of paper. That way I'm using half of it on each side. Yep, 6 by 9. So let me start putting some tape on these. I think I'm just going to go ahead with the repositionable, and we'll see how this goes for me. I had, let's see, beige dots. So I have beige dots going in the bottom left corner. It's the one with the red or pink dot spirals on the back side of it. This one is the same as my larger sheet, so I'm using the chevron side up, and then I'll be using the pattern side. I guess they're both patterned, so chevron and floral, or I don't know, just it has the darker pink linear design through it. I'm sure maybe this was one of the collections I introduced and knew the names of the pages still then. And then this one is with the beige dot circles, but we're using the darker pink side up on this one to the right corner here. Okay, oops. So it's a good idea to try to line these up, starting at the bottom first. Just makes sense. And then on my second row, like I said, I went 3/4 of an inch on these, and this is the same paper going across. So I went ahead and, oops, tape runner ran out. Get that changed out real quick. Make sure I don't have anything going there. Okay. This is why I keep these handy. All right. So same sheet going across this one. I just had that. I think I maybe had an inch scrap that was 1.5 inches, and so I cut it in half, and we're using it on both sides of the page. So with this one, I did cut some in half at the 1.5 inches just to give that pattern that they created on the sketch. So these are 3 inches, and I'm alternating. So this one has the little pattern that has the little orange dots at the top of it, and then the back side is the orange, I don't know, fleur-de-lis. It has some fleur-de-lis on it, I believe. And this is just going across the page here. I kind of have where the orange dots are going up on the ones that have the pieces that have the orange dots, just so that way y'all know. I don't know. I just thought it looked funny going down. Now, this one is, okay, so these are different pages. So I'll show you closer as soon as I get the tape on, because this has a lot of the beiges on the back, and it's very neutral. I'm hoping they'll actually show up. This one kind of has that linear swirl on the back, but it has the blue kind of linear swirl on it with the light blue. Hopefully this helps showing it a little bit closer there and some different lighting and directions. This is the one I did at 1/2 inch. And then again, I cut them at 3 inches. Oh, this one is different. This is one with the orange, and it also has light blue. And then the back side of it has, there you go. Wow, that one really focused nicely for me. So again, with that darker brown on the back, but with the pattern with the blues and the oranges on the front. And this is the same. So what I did was I actually kept my pattern a little bit more in the center on this row. Instead of alternating, I essentially am just creating a slightly different change to the pattern. So I've got the 2 lighter blues on the outside and the 2 pattern pieces on the inside here. Instead of cutting it down and trying to work it in again, it's essentially the same as this, except for whereas here I've got the 2 pinks here and the 2 kind of darker brown patterns. I've got the 2 blues and then the pattern that has the blue and the orange in the center here. So let me start getting tape on these embellishments, and then I'll hold these up for y'all to see closer as well. Just keeping on with the repositionable tape here. Let me see, make sure I get an extra little bit on that one. Okay, so there essentially are 2 of each of these tickety looking embellishments in our embellishment set for this collection. It's really, I don't know, it's just interesting. So these are right around the 3-inch width, and let me double check. Okay, because these I did want going a certain direction. So essentially I'm just kind of putting them over our 3-inch section below. I need to scoot this one over just a little bit. Apparently they're just under the 3 inches, but it seems to work because with the ticket, it's okay to see just this little bit. It's about 1/8 of an inch of the beige cardstock showing through. And okay, you're just making sure that I am not flipping these when I'm turning them over to make sure I have them going the direction I want them going, because this took me a little bit to get all the colors and the patterns lined up where I wanted them to on this page. So that way, I mean, it's still kind of busy, but it could have been a lot more, I guess, clash worthy, maybe is the right way to say it. So this one is the orange dots. And again, this was another scrap I had. It has the lighter tan or beige dots on the back of it. And this one, we are going to give just a little bit of space, but you know what? I'm going to get this one centered next before I stick down my orange stripe. So this one has the pink on the back side of it and the pink chevrons, as I mentioned before. Okay, we're going to center this one from the top, and essentially you're going to give it a 1/2 inch through all 3 sides here. There we go. Now we can fit our, how wide did I say this one was? I don't know if I said. Let me look it up for you all. Again, I have about 1/8 of an inch above and below on this one now. 1.5 inches. So this orange piece is 1.5 inches by 12. This was a 6 by 9. We got the 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch. So it all kind of worked out. And then this one has the dark pink front on it that I punched from with our elegant diamond. So it has that darker pink on front, and it had the, oh, it's kind of like the beigey brown on the back, but I don't know which pattern it was because it's just too hard to tell with all the punching out that came out of it. So I hope you all, or if you want to make this exact one, I hope you're able to just look on the front and back of your page, because not some of these, like this one had this on the back, this one had this on the back. I think it was this one. I'm pretty sure it was this one with the swirly dots on it, because that's how I wound up with the inch left to cut for the pattern along the bottom. Go figure. Okay, so this is where we're at. And I told you this one was going to take just a little bit longer. I have one more embellishment. This one is our light blue with the brown kind of little accent there on the top. And then I have 2 of our mats. And these are the 4.5 by 6.5 mats. This one has the lighter blue dots on it, or floral dots, if you will. And this one has the pink. It's the light blue, but it also has the darker pink around the edges, and it does have lines through it, but we're going to be covering up with a photo later when we get to put our photos on the page. And that's something else. I don't think I pulled out the picture mats really for this one, but I will talk about where I'm going to put pictures on this one. And I want to pop this one up because I want to make it easier for when I do put my pictures on. So I'm going to put my foam squares a little bit more towards the top here. I'm going to use 3 of my larger ones. I have a second sheet here. Sometimes that's the one thing I forget to check, is make sure I have enough foam squares to get me through the virtual crop. And I am going to center this as best I can here, ish. And then I will get my mats down. Okay, so this needs to go right around here. Okay. And then my mats are going to come down below here on each side. So this is going to cover up part of our border a little bit, just because I opted to go with the larger mat. Just a little. Okay. this down so that way you all can see the whole page again. I don't know if I just reset things a little differently or what. Okay, so this is the left side of our page. And yeah, definitely I will try to get my cards out towards the end for you all. Let's get the right side going. And this one is going to be pretty similar to our left. We just have some different mats and our pattern again across the bottom. Oops, let me flip that one back so I know I'm putting the blue side up. Here we go. Okay. Trying not to dump everything as I go. Oh, whoops. Just knocking things around a little bit. But as you can see, we have the same, essentially the same tickets. I've got my 1/2 inch pieces again. I've got my 3/4 inch pieces again, and I have my 1 inch pieces again. Here we go. And so essentially it's going to be the same pattern that it is on the opposite side of the page. So it is basically mirroring the left side of the page that we just did. And I will show these again a little bit closer for you all to see as I go to stick them down. Whew, feels good to use up so many scraps. All right, so again, so from the left side, so that we're using that dark pink with the circular spirals, I guess, if you will, again. This one is the opposite of what we have at the top, so it's the same pattern. And then the back side of the one we have at the top of the chevrons. And so on the other side of my page, my chevrons were going pointing to the right, and then this side they're pointing to the left. It's kind of a subtle thing I do, or I try to do on pages when I do the chevrons. Is just because you want people to their eyes to flow through your pages, so you're kind of giving an indirect little indication of where you want their eyes to look on the page. Okay, and then we have another one of the tan circular piece as well. Okay. So again, this is the same orange on the back and the pattern on the front with the little orange dots going towards the top of the page again. And that one did not go flat. Whoops, I almost put that one on upside down with my orange dots. Probably because my one next to it is crooked. So give me just a moment to fix that. With my multi-purpose tool here real quick. And put that back down, put this over here. And next is again the orange pattern and orange dots going up on this one. Okay. And then again, I have the light blue with those linear swirls again, just on the two ends with the patterned pieces that have the orange and the light blue in the center again with that little bit of tan. And here we go. Okay, so now we have our 4 embellishments again. These little tickets. Like I said, it was nice to find matched pairs for each side of the page. And again, this one has with the orange, with the swirl, the beige and the pink again. About 1/8 of an inch in between these again. So this is kind of nice. So at least now I've done the other side, so I know roughly my spacing again. Let me make sure I have orange. Yep. Okay. My swirl coming in from the right. Okay. Whew, there we go. That pattern is set again. It just does seem to work somehow. Even though it has all those blues and the oranges and the pinks, And they just all seem to work together with this collection. It's really nice. You know, like I've said it before, the designers really do know what they're doing, and with their color choices, most of the time it seems like it does make sense. Sometimes it's a little easier to put them together than other times, but that Noteworthy Days has really been a big challenge for me this year. But, you know, hopefully it's working out for all of you that I'm going through all the stickers. And I hope I've been able to give you some ideas for your collection of that as well. I'm probably going to have to order some more paper packs coming up. I feel like I've used a lot of my Noteworthy Days already with the paper. So now this is the other part of the, what did I say, 1.5 inch? Yep, 1.5 by 12. And again, I will leave about 1/8 of an inch, but I probably should bring in my other side of the page just to double check, since that's the one thing that really will run through the whole page besides the patterns on the bottom. But those, you know, it's like if you start on the bottom, it should line up, shouldn't it? Yep, just right. Whew, okay, it's always nice when these things work out. Let's flip that over because we're going to use the pink side up again on this one. And here we go. There we go. Who would have thought that pink and orange would look so pretty together? But it just seems to work. I can't explain it, but it just works. So now on this one, our blue is going on the left. This one has the what is it? A quadrifoil on it. And then this one is our pink, dark pink with the dots again. So back sides are here. I have light blue stripes on this side and more pink on the back of this mat. These are both 4.5 by 6.5 mats. And then I found this one in the embellishment pack as well. And I could not resist because if y'all remember, the mat that we had on the left side of our left page had this border on it. And I thought, you know, it's too much. I just couldn't resist it. So we'll go ahead and pop a large foam square on here. I think we'll put a couple of maybe smaller ones on the side just to make sure it doesn't sag on us. But I don't want to put too much on here because I want to be able to get my mats up underneath here a bit too. And I will grab my zero centering ruler again to get this into the center of our page. And then I'll bring in the other page in the sketch again, and we are almost done, amazingly enough, with this one. I thought this one was going to take much longer, probably because it took me so long to figure out all the paper sizes and the pattern on this one, but it came together really nice and quick. So it's always a pleasant surprise. Okay, we're going to go ahead and place these again as well, and kind of going up and under my embellishment here a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, and so this one is probably just a little bit more for decoration, but by all means, write a title for your page up here. If you have one, it's a great place to put it. Otherwise, you can write around on some of your cardstock as well. This other one on this left side does have lines in it, so you could use this for your journaling. Also, I know we did put foam squares under it. So just use one of your Creative Memories journal pens. It'll write nicely on there. You don't have to worry about the foam squares being on there already. Okay, what do y'all think about this one? Oh, thank you, Cynthia. I'm going to bring in the sketch and then I'll show everybody. I really appreciate your comment. So here is the sketch. Okay, the biggest difference, I did kind of follow the bottom part of the sketch. They have 3 photos going across, and of course they have 3 smaller photos, and then they had a 10 by 8 here, and I opted to do the 6 by 9, and I like a little bit more of how that framed out. And I also like the idea of having the two larger photos. The other thing that you can do, and I know we spent a lot of work on the bottom of our page, but you can also add photos down here as well. So I didn't pull out too many of my little mats, but so obviously you're going to put your 4x6 photos up here. Now, never let it be said that you can't put 3 up here, even with the mats the way they are. So let me fix this. And let's see. Okay. So Cynthia, thank you for letting me know I did a great job. And let me show your question here a moment. Will creative memories ever have ink colors? And by that, do you mean for pens or for stamps? Because we might have a product coming soon that would be a ink type thing to use with a brush. That might be added to our product line either later this year or early next year. That was part of an advisor exclusive that we were able to get a little advanced look at. We do have quite a few pens on our website. We do have our dual tip pens. This one is our black journal pen that I use for writing on my sketches as well as journaling on my pages. And we do have several colors available as well. Hopefully that answered your question. If not, let me know if you need some more clarity on that. But let me finish showing you a couple more possibilities for photos on this page. So I think we could easily put our 2 photos up here. And then you can easily fit one more down here, and that would still show enough of your pattern. I know you spent a lot of time, I've spent a lot of time putting it together, but isn't the whole purpose to have more photos on the page? Now, could you do smaller photos? Yes, you could easily do a couple of smaller ones here as well. Let me see if I can find where's my little stack of ones I've already done something with. So here's a example with a smaller 5.5 by 3.5, which almost gets framed out a little bit more down there. Or, hang on, I got 3 by 4 or 4 by 3, and I'm going to try to show. Here's 3.5, and here's 3. Okay. So I wonder if you could take a couple of just 3-inch photos. Hang on. So here I'm going to turn this one. So there's 4 by 3 this way. Or you could easily get, if you're wanting to cut down your photos even smaller, there's 3 inches right there, and this would be what a 3.5 inch would look like. So definitely options as far as adding photos. And another thing you could do is easily, if you have a couple of smaller photos here, you could get your custom cutting system circles and put a photo up here, and then add 1 or 2 more here with your foam tape to pop up the photos. So you would have 2 more, you'd have your 2 larger photos here, and then you could put another smaller one here, but popped up. So it'd be a little bit higher than your other ones. So there's a lot of options with putting the photos on to the pages, and I hope I gave y'all, hopefully I didn't give you too many options or ideas. But sometimes, we all get sometimes tied into just what the mats are, and you don't have to be tied into what the mats are. So, okay, sketch number 3. Let me switch out my thing and grab a quick sip of water again. All right. Oops. Okay. I have used our birthday jubilee because I had one person comment last month how they were really looking for ideas with this collection. And I didn't get as many votes this month on my community tab. I understand. I've been super busy and traveling around a little bit myself, and so I didn't notice as much. And then I went to design today, and I went, okay, well, how's about we add in a little birthday jubilee? So then that way, it'll give us all another idea for our birthday pages here. And I'm going to leave this where it was because that gives me an idea of my placement that I wanted to use for it. I did also use the Stacked Presents Chain Border Maker cartridge on this one. That's with the, I essentially used a scrap of paper from this one as well. So that's the Border Maker cartridge. You do need to have the Border Maker system in order to use the cartridges because this part holds the paper and this part holds your punch, and it helps to line things up for when you do punch. I'm using navy cardstock for the base. This is the ribbon confetti-ish swirl paper that I used. It has the orange, kind of like the tie, almost like it reminds me of the Full of Wonder collection. Kind of almost looks like the tie-dye a little bit with the orange on the back. But let me grab my border mat again, and we are going to start sticking this one down. This one, like I said, I think I only used the one sheet of paper. The other thing I did pull out, and I want to show, so let me grab that while I'm thinking about it. But first, I'm going to just go ahead and put my presents down right at the edge here. Okay. This one, and I forgot to show you all the sketch. Okay, so hang on, let me get the sketch. And let me get the other thing I did use for this one was our artsy add-on that came out with this collection. And this is one of those that was in the Buy It All bundle, which the first week or sometimes the first just couple of days, depending on how fast the collection sells and how many people love it. This one came with the Buy It All bundle. And so if you're not familiar with our artsy add-ons, it comes with like a little layered embellishment ideas that work a lot like our card kits. Everything is numbered and lettered, so that way you know which ones go together. And I'm using it on the right side of my page and it's not cooperating, so let me just open this up real quick and show you all. So you can see the pictures of the completed embellishments that you can make. And then they also have some mats in here as well, the 4.5 by 6.5 mats. But so for example, this is a banner here, and on the back it has 5A, so that all the pieces for embellishment number 5 will be 5A, 5B, 5C. So if you can count, you know your numbers, you can put together these embellishments. So this one is for 3A with the little note thing, and this one is 2A with the heart. So you just have to look and you match up all your A's, your B's, your C's with your number, and you get these really cute embellishments to put on your page. And our card kits work the same way. They're super easy to put together. You don't even have to know how to make a card. As long as you can count, you can do it. Okay, so here is my sketch for this one. And a little bit of writing, but not as much as on the last one because, you know, it's not not as complicated, I guess, in putting it together. All right, and so we have these really large embellishments with this collection somehow. How am I going to remember where this is? I'll put my fingernail here, and then I'll try to remember to put the tape on, maybe one-handed while I'm doing this. All right, that's what I'm going to do. It works. So when they say don't try this at home, folks, let's see. This was right about here. There we go. So look, our tape runners are so easy. You can do them all one-handed, right? But anyways, we had these larger embellishments, and I thought, you know, we need to use these on our page a little bit at least. And so I thought, let's go ahead and put it in kind of behind our photos here a little bit because obviously the photos do need to be the star, but I also thought that the colors and the little ribbon confetti stuff worked well with the paper I picked, as well as the coloring just seemed to work great with everything. So you know what, I forgot to put well, that's okay because I wanted my confetti under it a little bit anyways. This one is in our layered borders. So it's the layered borders that came with the collection as well. So it has happy on this side with the banner, and then birthday is on the other side. So we'll just go ahead and run some more repositionable tape down this one. Let's hope I'm not going to need another refill. I have one. It's just across the room. It's not on my table. But I used a lot of repositionable tape so far this month. Usually I use a mix of both, a little bit more, but it's all right. Okay, now if I can just get it to cooperate with me to go on the page. Here we go. And I'm just trying to get the two corners up at the top corners of my page here. And these two mats are 4x6 because again, I had a scrap. I think I cut some circles out of the other part of this paper. I don't know if it was for last month's virtual crop or for something else, but it worked out nicely that I was able to get two 4x6 mats out of it. So that's what I went with. And then in our artsy add-on, we had this time to celebrate mat. And I went ahead and pulled that one as well because, again, it just worked really well with this page. I think last month I did all the balloons, and that was really fun. So this mat actually would also have gone with that balloon page I did last month, and I did that extra video showing everybody how to put those together. It's also on my channel here if y'all are interested in more layouts with the birthday jubilee. But here we go. Time to celebrate is going just right on the bottom here towards the left a little bit. And I pulled a little daisy because on this gift bag embellishment, it has this, let me show you. It has kind of like a little gold tag here, and I didn't really like that. So I'm going to pop this up on a small foam square and just switch it up a little bit because I think the white daisy works a little bit nicer with our ribbons here, the white with the little yellow. And then I also found this cupcake. Now there were two cupcakes in the embellishment pack. One I think had a strawberry on top, and again the coloring just didn't work as well for me as this one, so this is the one I picked. And again, we're going to go ahead and put this one on foam squares as well and put it on our left side of with our border here. Okay. All right. Oops. There we go. And then I've got my photo cards ready for this one. I don't know. I think the other one I thought it might intimidate people too much if I showed them too many options for the photos, and then I showed you all anyways. So there we go. That's the left side of our page here. Let me go ahead and get the right side put together as well. And this one did I follow the sketch? Not really. I kind of followed the sketch-ish, but I added just with this other banner, and then again using my scrap, I kind of worked with what I had, which I guess speaks to the essence of the sketch, but not fully. So this one was my embellishment I did from the artsy add-on. It's the one with the sweets, and I reversed where the little sucker, because on the picture I think it was coming out the other way, and I wanted mine going out to the left, so I moved it over. This was number 4. And then we also had this giant thing of packages, gifts, and I thought, you know what, that's going to go really well with our stacked presents. border that we have on both sides of our page. If you don't want to do the presents and the artsy add-on, the little sweet thing, you don't have to, because there is an option to put another photo at the bottom of your page as well. But I just went with what I had, and that's kind of what worked. All right, let's see. This one is, so this piece, this was basically a scrap. It was 1.5 inches by 6 1/4. And really, any size probably would work down here. And then this one was 5 3/4 inch square. And again, I just was working with what I had left from this piece of paper. And I will show you, like I said, I've already got my little photo card so I can show you all where to put photos on this page. And this one is just going in from the corner. We are covering up we're going to go next to our border, I think. Yep, let's just go next to our border. And this little scrap is going to go underneath so it says life is short, eat the cake, but again, this one probably is going to wind up with a photo on it. But you know what? If you don't have enough photos for the page, you can leave it. It's still a cute saying, and it'll work on your page because it is, after all, a birthday page. Let me get my other part of my banner put down here with the repositionable tape again. Here we go. And here is this. Oops. And that's on that side. Okay. So there's that. I am going to place this one up here. Just straight on the page again as well. And let's get some tape burner going on both of our larger embellishments here. It's, like I said, optional if you want to use them. If you would rather stick a photo in this corner, you easily could fit a 4x4 photo. Well, I'll just show you with the 4x6. So here you can see you can easily fit a photo down here, but you don't have to. I mean, if you want to, it's up to you, of course, but we're going to have one right here on our mat too. So I thought, let's put our gifts here and our little sweets thing angling out to the side here a little bit. And that's it. That is the right side of our page. Let me take this off of here. What do y'all think of this one? Well, I have to put them both together, don't I? Okay. And then you can let me know if you have any questions as well. It's kind of easier for me to go ahead and put the layout together and then look up and check the comments and maybe see if there's any questions. This one definitely is more straightforward. Overall, here we go. Just putting in some regular. This one you can go either way. I figured this you could go easily down and over a bit with your photos here. And I did put, I was thinking of putting one here, or you could easily put 2 verticals as well. Now, down here, I was thinking about covering up the time to celebrate, but leaving the balloon showing. So having one of our photos going across the bottom there. And then you are going to want your 3.5 by 5.5 photos. So slightly smaller photos since we have 4x6 mats on the left side here. So this, you can go either way. And you can easily turn this one as well. So it just depends on what direction your photos are as to how you're going to want to put them on this page. Of course, if you have 2 4x4 photos, you could easily do that too, or you could just stick a smaller photo in that space. And if you want to journal, you could easily also just journal up here on your time to celebrate mat and then put the smaller photo in the space over here, or cut part of one of your index sheets and create a space to journal here as well. So there we go. Lots of options again. I hope y'all enjoyed my interpretation of sketch number 3. So you can see I did, with my sweets, I did kind of angle it just like they had angled this photo, but I opted to just work with what I had a little bit more. And I did add, so I added the second photo on my left side, and then we have the 2 that you can do here on the right as well. But I put my title more across the top using the borders. So, okay, let's see what's next. Sketch number 4. How are we doing? Oh boy, it's been a little bit. Thank you all for sticking with me. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a little bit longer with that vintage chic one, but I thought it was worth it. That one, I think it just, I don't know, it really spoke to me. I mean, they all speak to me in their own way, but that one really was a little bit of a labor of love. So here is this one. You can see I've got more options for the photos on this one too. Okay. Whoops. Knocking around my right side of my page there a little bit. Get my little sheet in here. Okay. Here we are. And this one, we've got, this one definitely I went a little bit simpler on also. I think I was starting to get a little tired by the time I got to the 4th one, but I think I still gave the sketch a good go, a good homage. I didn't necessarily do the banner, but I think you'll see what we have instead. But anyways, here is my sketch here using our springtime soiree collection. And I did pull out the floral ribbon border punch, and this one I punched from the, let me think about it, because I know I had written it down earlier. I looked it up, and because it's not Purple Ice, it's if anybody knows it, let me know. It's the shimmer. It's the lighter purple shimmer, and it'll probably come to me at some point, but again, it's escaping me for now. But that's what I'm using for our bottom border here. And this one is going to be about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And we're going to just have this cardstock showing this is our Elegant Cream. Is it Elegant Cream? Classic Cream. See, I wrote that one down. Classic Cream is what we are using as the base for our 2 pages. I just thought it went a little bit nicer with this collection. It is not on your index sheet, so you can add it to complimentary cardstocks if you would like for this collection, because I really thought it went very nicely with this one. I have 2 mats. Both are with purples, one with the dark with the grid, the other with the light with the kind of like rainbows, rainbow swirls-ish. We have writing on the back of both of them. Paradise is a garden, and in short, we are all good things are wild and free. Okay. And then this collection also had the layered border. So we are using this one. You can see the little extra foam squares that they put into these borders. And finally, this sheet, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, this was this piece of designer paper. And what I did was I essentially used the cut guide on my trimmer when I cut them out. And I essentially went to the outside of the green dotted line. So here's an example. Since it's like every other one, I just went and I put this in my trimmer and I just cut it right to here and here. So it's basically where I didn't measure it because it's essentially fussy cut. So I did 2 of those out of this piece of paper, which means we'll probably be seeing this opposite side on another layout later or something along those lines at some point. But I just really liked how these flowers interacted with the border here. So that's what I am doing. And let's see here. This one is also going to have about a half an inch of cardstock showing at the top. And it really, like I said, this cream just really sets it off. Stick a little bit of our repositionable tape on here, and you can see as these two come together, we have the same pattern essentially, even though I know I essentially left that extra bottom one to kind of help me figure out the placement for where this border is going to go. So let's get the rest of our tape runner going here. And then I did have two mats that I cut in half. And the first one is the one that says, "Life is better with flowers." All of our mats for this collection are now 4.5 by 6.5. So this is 4.5 by 3.25 once you get it cut in half. Let's see. Light purple is going down here. And I think I'm going to go on the border a little, but I'm not sure. I need to go ahead and get my placement first. This is going right up here. This one is a little bit easier. This is going right at the edge of the paper here. And this one is going up here. Our life is better with flowers. So I can bring, yeah, this one is going over part of our ribbon border, but we'll put, so you can see just a little bit of the design from underneath the mat as well. Whoops. I didn't push hard enough on that one to get it to stick down. And okay, so also on this left side, we are going to layer our pansies that were in our sticker pack. So we'll go ahead and get the dark purple and the light purple here. And you know what? We are going to layer them. How's about that? We're going to go ahead and put a couple of small foam squares underneath our light purple and create a nice layer. I think I'm going to have to cut a foam square in half to help the stem a little bit. And this is one of those where you're kind of going to have to hide it just within the sticker itself. So I don't know if I can get this on camera well enough for you all, but just placing it right there so it doesn't pop out from the outer edge of the sticker. Hopefully, can you see that? It's hard to see white on white, but hopefully you can tell where that is. And I will hold it up coming up once we get it stuck to the page as well. Oops, I got the paper stuck to my fingernail there. And we're going to go ahead and layer this with this other one with the light purple kind of going down and left of our dark purple. So I just placed it on top there, and with our foam squares is keeping it popped up so it kind of looks a little bit like what the border was when I showed you from the side. And then this is just going to come in over here. And I didn't put more foam squares underneath the dark purple. You can if you want that double layer, but I think having the single layer is enough on that one. So, all right, left side of the page is done. And I'm looking and hi, Deborah. You're right. You haven't caught me in a while. It's nice to see you back. Let's do the right side of our page. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I have to move all these. Boy, I had a lot on the other side and not so many on this side, so I don't know what I was thinking. We'll get there when we get there. But again, we've got a couple more mats. We've got the border at the top and the bottom again. So again, I did kind of follow the sketch a little bit, and you can see where we're going. And again, I did a lot of mirroring this month where we're just our right and left are similar, but not exact, I guess, is the long and short of it. And maybe I followed well, I followed parts of the sketches. I never follow the sketches all the way 100%, but I figure there's enough other people that show how to do those things, and I like to give you all extra ideas of things of how you can interpret the sketches and work with your scraps, which is what I've done a lot of this month. And it's nice to be able to use some of those up. So again, the classic cream on the bottom. Wisteria. That is what this color is. Told y'all I would think of it at some point. It's the I don't know if it's purple wisteria or wild wisteria, but it is the shimmer paper, and I know it has wisteria in the name. It's such a pretty shade of purple. I don't think this was on your index sheet either, as far as a coordinating cardstock, but hey, y'all are getting some ideas of things you can add. Let me bring in my other side of the page because I'm worried that I'm not quite lining up with where I was on my other side. And this is one of those where I think it's going to matter a little bit more than some of my other pages I've done tonight. So let's check it. How did I do? Okay, I need to move that top one, and I need to move this one up a little. Okay, good thing I didn't push down on it. Here's that. Going across, and oops, I've got a little speed bump there. There we go. This one I need to grab my multi-purpose tool for so I can adjust it. I think with just having that little dotted line running across, you can really tell if it's not lined up, that's for sure. There we go. Okay, get that even. There we go. That looks good at the bottom. Here we are. Okay. Got so distracted by the fact that I actually remembered the wisteria. Forgot to double check what my placement was. All right, that looks good. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Good thing we're using a repositionable with that one. I don't know if I need to bring back in the other one for this too, probably. Okay, why did I move it away? Mm-hmm. A lot of scrapbooking today. There we go. Oh, it's pretty close. And let's see, going across, we do want it to cover up that other green line, because like I said, that's kind of what I use to help with the placement on this left side. All right, and then we have the You Deserve Flowers mat that has, it's kind of a strange shade of brown with a little bit of like avocado green framing it out on the back there. And the, again, purple rainbowies with Spring Has Sprung on it. And finally, we have, and you can see where we're going with this one a little bit. Come Take a Walk with Me. This is the other mat I cut in half. So it is the 4.5 by 3.25 again. So we're going to have 2 half mats to use up another time as well. I just might want to leave this thing out here. I don't know what I did to myself here where my final layout is. So making me think so much here. And I probably just put that on top of my other tape runner. Nope, there we go. Okay. So You Deserve Flowers is going right next to the other one. And of course, we're going to be separate a little bit in our actual books, but you know, even separate, your eye probably would be able to tell if it wasn't quite lined up. So I wanted to make sure that they were lined up. And then we have this one going next to this one. And so essentially we're creating that line that they had on their, I don't know if I want to say sample, but sketch. There we go. bringing this one down again, and this one is going to be right at the edge, and it is going to go over our border as well. This is at the edge. Okay. There we go. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, let's see if I can move this one out for more than 30 seconds. I think so, because we are going to add this arch to the mat. Even though it already has the arch, we're going to add the extra arch to it. And again, we're going to foam square this one. So we're going to add that extra dimension to it and just kind of make this whole thing pop a little bit more. Use up a bunch of little foam squares, I think, on this one. Oops. Okay. But this kind of is where I was thinking that banner inspired me a little bit. But so we see a lot of banners, and I thought, if we don't have to do a banner every time, I mean, we don't have one every month, but it seems like we have them quite frequently. So I just thought, let me give you another idea, so where you don't have to put a banner exactly on your page. Here's this other half square, and I'm going to probably wind up cutting one more in half because this thing is with the angle of it. I just don't want it to sag either. So there we go. Sometimes I cut them straight up and down, and sometimes I cut them at an angle depending on what I need. And with these, just cutting them straight seems to be working. So I just want to get these thinner areas. Okay. There we go. So y'all can put in the chat if you have any questions about this one. This is a sticker, or just in general about any of the layouts. I'll be checking that in just a moment. Again, now I'm working on trying to get all these foam square backs off. This is one area where foam tape won't help you. You kind of do have to use the little ones. So it takes an extra minute to make sure you get all the backs off. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just adding this above here because it's essentially the same dimension as the one that's on the mat. So it's really, I thought that was really kind of interesting that worked out so nicely for me when I went to pull it from the sticker sheet. And then there's 3 roses. Oops. One of them is on the word sheet for your stickers, but it's just this single rose. Okay, if I can pick them up. So we're going to put a rose here because our poor trellis is looking kind of sad with it has a lot of blank spots, and I understand that we have vines coming in, but it just bugged me. And so I thought, you know what, we're going to stick some of these larger single bloom roses. And there was one yellow. There were only 2 pink ones. One of the pink ones was on the word sheet, and then the yellow and the other pink were on the regular sticker sheet where the arch could be found. And then we also have this little bouquet as well, but this is going to go down here as well, kind of at the bottom. I think it's kind of just an extra little item we can add as a little invitation with our little come walk with me. So that's going straight onto the mat as well. Okay. So that is the right side of our page. Oops, here we go. And there's all that with all the extra stickers on it. You can really see it definitely is popping off the page a little bit more than if we just put the mat itself down. And I'm going to go ahead and pull in the other side again, and we'll take a look at it with our sketch, and then I'll show you where I'm thinking about for photos on this one. This might be why I had so many cards. Okay, so here's the sketch again, and you can see they definitely had their borders running through. I kind of put them mine a little bit higher and a little bit lower on the page because I did want, again, the larger photos as well, because they're showing 3x5 photos on theirs and 3x3 photos. So, and I wanted to put my full 4x6 photos. It's nice when you don't have to trim out every photo. Sometimes there are photos that do need some trimming. but we don't have to trim every single one of them. We don't have to. And this should fit, yep, right at the edge here. So you might need to trim just a little bit off of this. So this is a 3.5 by 5.5. So you might want it more at a 3" by 5, but it still works on this edge here. And for the left side, let's see here. What did I pull? Oh, hey, I can show you the 3". So here's a 3 by 3 up here. Probably should get the rest of my things. So this is what a 3 by 3 would look like up here. And you can even do the 4 by 3 as well. Okay, here's our other 6 by 4, 4 by 6. We've got them all. And our little sample cards here. And then as far as journaling goes, journal down here. I didn't actually put an actual journal mat per se. So again, the 3.5 by 5.5 can fit in here as well. Or if you want to go a little bit smaller, we can do that as well. So here's what a 4 by 4 would look like here, but you might want to do so that way you're not covering up as much of your mat. Not that it's all about the mats, it's all about the photos, but you get a little more leeway with your cardstock with a 3.5 by 3.5 there. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. So this is what I was thinking of with this mat. I actually almost cut into a banner because it has the kind of like the little swirl that reminded me of the cutouts for the banner, but I opted not to. So that's the homage to the banner on this page, basically, besides the arch. But okay, well, oops. Let me get myself back over here and say goodnight to all of you. Real quick here. Whoops. Tapping the wrong one. Would help if I actually got the correct camera so y'all could see me again. Here I am. I'm still here. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know it was a long one tonight. It took me about an hour and a half to get through all 4. But I hope I was able to give you all some ideas along the way for these collections. Don't forget to join me again next month and make sure to vote on my community tab and let me know which collections you'd like to see. And if I don't have the right ones in the poll, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know if you have a special collection you would like to see that maybe isn't in the poll. So, all right. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will be back hopefully in the next week or 2 with the rest of the ideas for the Noteworthy Days stickers. Until next time.